Hello, and you have been pulled into the black dimension, and I am Kev, and Roger and Donnie is here as well. And yeah, you ever had that no choice feeling? Well, that's where you are with the black dimension. So just sit tight and enjoy our review on the Netflix feature film, The Harder They Fall, directed by the Bullets, which includes Sean Carter, who is none other than Jay Z. This film right here is very surprising when I first watched it, and I must say I've watched it several times since then. So, what's going on, fellas?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Yeah,
Hey yo, what's up?
yeah, so a little pumped about this one. Yes, and on the screen is of course, it's Idris Elba. Idris Elba played the main antagonist, the villain of the film, Rufus Buck, and what I'm saying, what I'm about to say is, it may seem like it's far-reaching for some people, but for me, Rufus Buck is like one of my favorite villains in all of movie history. Because of the way he was portrayed by Idris Elba. And this film had a lot of things about it. A lot of things that we're going to cover here for this short amount of time. So what did you initially think of the film when y'all first checked it out?
Fucking phenomenal. The movie it was everything I needed it to be at the time. As I was telling you earlier, I'm not a big fan of Western movies, but when a black Western comes out, something about it attracts me. And this movie is just it was powerful on a lot of levels. It was a good. I wish there was more stories to come from this. I don't know if they'll do that or not, but it was great.
You know what? I'm just gonna get the elephant on out the way because there's a big elephant in this room. This right here is the best Western ever made. Period. Point blank. Period.
Mm.
Mm, yeah, that's a bold claim right there. And there are plenty of westerns out there, but you're saying that this right here, this film, is the best western film ever made.
You telling
Period.
me this movie is better than Wild Wild West?
Well, maybe Wild West was contended. It contended, but no, it failed in comparison. Maybe it
I
was a
mean,
contender.
we talking about Clint Eastwood, we talking about John Wayne, we talking about all these guys. You talking about best western ever made. It was very entertaining. I will say that much.
Don't feel bad, fellas. Records are made to be broken.
All right, now Roger, explain your position real fast. Why would you believe that this is the best western ever made?
Man, first of all, it was good from beginning to end. Period. You had the culture of they were showing you culture, the family life right from the beginning. Then all of a sudden, it's interrupted in some I ain't gonna say just straight action, but a certain level of suspense. But then as you went through the movie, the action was right, the talking was right, the attitudes of the people were right. You didn't know what was going on, and it was hard to pick out who was the baddest man in this movie. It really was, because you expect the okay, whoever gonna have the lead role gonna be like the baddest man in the movie. It's hard to even say who that really was in this particular situation. Everybody was bad and at the right place in the right time. Just a great film. The way they portrayed these characters, people did a phenomenal job. And this movie pulls you right in.
Yep, from the very beginning, it for me is similar. The movie did not slow down. It was never a dull moment. Something was always going on. This movie did not have any boring parts, and the way these characters were portrayed, although based on actual historic figures, they were portrayed in a very phenomenal way. With great performances from Idris Elba, Lakeith Stanfield, Regina King, no, um Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors. Let's talk about him for a second. Jonathan Majors. He was the lead guy, the main protagonist. He was Nat Love. Now, historically, Nat Love was black American cowboy and expert marksman, and just uh, also Jonathan Majors. This guy has a very bright future ahead of him. I must say, in every role that he's played, he has pretty much knocked out the park. So, what did you think of how Nat Love was portrayed in this film? Did you think that Jonathan Majors did a great job? Did he knock it out the park? Do you have any issues with how he performed? Because I
Well,
don't.
Nah,
I believe
nah.
that is proud.
Yeah, we got this new generation Denzel.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Upstart, up and coming. Yeah. No. Yeah, he's gonna be the go-to guy. Like, I just can't wait to he's gonna be a villain in upcoming film Ant Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, as Kang the Conqueror. And Kang the Conqueror is a major comic book villain, so I am looking forward to seeing what he's gonna do with that. But as far as this film right here, great job. Then the main antagonist, of course, was Rufus Buck, played by Idris Elba. Idris Elba looked very menacing and very ruthless in this role. Like he would kill you in a heartbeat. Like, spoiler warning. Like when he killed that guy in town, talking about I ain't paying shit. He was like, dude was like, I got a family. No, what's your name? My name is James. Shot him. Rest in peace, James. Like it was crazy, and like what we had talked about, like kind of off air. We had talked about that pistol whipping.
Yeah.
Oh, that pistol whipping was ruthless, but
Old fashioned right there, brother. That was an
uh,
old fashioned pistol whipping.
yeah, yeah, and pistol whip your boy right here, Dion Cole played Wiley Esco. He was the sheriff and the mayor of the town that Rufus kind of left him in charge of, Redwood, but he tried to sell it under his nose. But Dion Cole, the special part about him is he's a comedy actor, and he was able to translate into this role very good. Now, male comedy actors do that; they can translate into other genres very good, especially horror. So, I mean, check out
Yeah.
Chris Rock and Spiral. But yeah, but yeah, I felt like Dion Cole's role was pretty good. Like for the character Willie Esco, though he was a bit shady, but he was shady in a shady man's world. But speaking
I,
of, go ahead.
I'm not even accustomed to seeing that man in a serious role like that. I didn't recognize him. It took me 20 minutes in IMDb search to make sure that was him.
Hey, boy, you ever shoot a sheriff? A little bit different from shooting a regular person. It's like,
Man, he did a phenomenal job with this character, and the way they started out, you would think he about to be a punk for real, like he was trying to convince himself not to be a punk, but this dude wasn't no punk. He just wasn't at the end of the day. He just thought about what he was gonna do, calculated his move, but you really can't say he was a punk at all. And they definitely made me think he was about to be that. So another great job. Like I don't know who casted this movie, but somebody need to pat them on the back. Like real talk.
and honestly, I think that yeah, we do need more films like this. The films that put blacks in other situations besides struggle. Like, and not there's anything wrong with reminding us where we came from. It's just that it's done in excess, and this film right here definitely showed everyone that we are capable of doing those type of films, instead of the ones that always, equate to the struggles that we've had. So this is very refreshing to look at. Now, I would say one of my favorite characters in this film would probably have to be Bass Reeves. Bass Reeves he was an American lawman in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and the Lone Ranger, the the story, the Lone Ranger, was actually based off Bass Reeves because it was said that he actually had a silver horse. He had a Native American assistant. He was a master of disguise, with the mask the Lone Ranger wore, and he was an expert marksman. And like he had he had a certain wit about him, in this in this character. Delroy Lindo being an older actor and an older guy, his chill swag in this role made it work for him. Just the couple of the wisecracks he threw out. He's like when Cherokee Bill's like that our money. He's like, come on with me. When your boy came out, I bit my right arm.
Yep.
Yeah. But
That's right arm or left arm.
see, you got right arm on your left. But for real, man, I mean, like it was just stuff like that. I mean, his character as a whole was great. Like, I mean, I don't know if there's a bad character in this film. I don't. I just don't know. I don't think I was displeased with anybody, especially this one right here. I'm gonna tell you, fellas, I fell back in love with Regina King with this. I don't know. It was just some. It was the way, like I said, the way she carried herself in the role of Gertrude Smith, which she really made Gertrude Smith greater than what she actually was in real life. Gertrude Smith was just a pickpocket, but she was a ruthless badass in this role. And Regina King, I don't know that accent she had. I was like, wow, just
Doing it.
blew me away. Period. I mean, and just Regina King has been around for a while, and she's aging pretty well. I would say, like very well, like fine wine.
He
Good.
absolutely is. He absolutely is. And you know what? Maybe she actually just portrayed Gertrude Smith in all her glory. They always try to, you know, when they tell our stories of history, they try to dampen us down a little bit. So maybe she just played it the correct way, you know. But man, she did a hell of a job in this one, and that's one lady I wouldn't be rushing to get into it with her at all, at all. Hell of a job. Again,
So,
whoever cast this movie, a salute to you.
so what did y'all think about the overall story of it? How it started, how the middle line went, how the ending to it, the big was I
Reveal.
don't want to say the reveal. There you go, the big reveal at the end. What did you think about the dynamic of the movie and everything else?
Brother, this was just a great film, period. If you ask me, the story was great, the character was great, the way they portrayed the character was great, the twists and turns of the movie was great, even up to that ending part. And which at first I was like, this nigga lying. But then as they played, I was like, well, maybe he's telling the truth. Because this nigga was, the scruples was gone. So that's why I was like, this nigga lying. I thought he was just trying to get some leverage or an advantage. But man, this whole thing was, and this was just a special film, real talk.
I'll tell you one thing I did like about this film. There was like no white savior complex. It just that there were whites in the film, and I'm not trying to say anything too blatantly strong, but they weren't the centerpiece. They weren't seen as some kind of powerful beacon that it holds everything together. In fact, they were pretty much on you know the short end of the stick as far as this one. But as far as the dynamic of the film itself, what all the character motivations, especially the tie-in with Nat and Rufus Buck. I mean, it's by the end of the film, that was a pretty heavy and powerful scene that was well acted for the kind of film that it was. I mean, like it'll make anybody's heart heavy to watch it. And the reason why, like in the beginning of the film, why Rufus did such a terrible violent act was because of he was seeking revenge. and you didn't know that until that very, like the scene that's on the screen right now. You didn't know any of that. You just thought Rufus was just this menacing asshole, which he was. But you find out at the end what caused it and what realistic impact it had on Nat Love himself. Like, it was a very big twist at the end. You know, as far as like, it was a fictional story. Like let's keep that in mind. It was a fictional story, but it was just one of those fictional stories that is just well put together. And if it was real, you'd be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, just as a quick side note, I just gotta say the white people in this film did a phenomenal job. They really
Yeah,
did.
yeah, they did.
Yeah, that shit was tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, yeah, I like that one particular scene with Cuffy. When they robbed the bank. uh,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Am I
well,
funny?
I'm gonna say the white folks in this movie were definitely placed in all the right places. They did a hell of a job. It was beautiful execution. Beautiful execution. They wasn't too much, but wasn't too little either. Just great execution the whole way. So yeah, the people who made this film definitely should be proud of themselves. Man, this was a masterpiece. And
Yeah.
again, best Western ever.
Yeah, yeah, I would say it has elevated itself to one of my favorite films. And if Netflix is going to continue to put films out like this, then I'm on board. Period. Also, one more thing, and I don't know. I think we can wrap it up. The casting choices. I know there's a kind of an elephant in the room about that. A lot of people had a problem with Zazie Beats being cast as Stagecoach Mary. I mean, yeah, Stagecoach Mary. Because this is the real Stagecoach Mary on the screen as it compares to Zazie Beetz Stagecoach Mary. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I didn't mind the change at all. I mean, if we were going to go look accurate with every historical figure, we'll have a lot of dynamic changes in a lot of the way these characters are portrayed. Um, they have this thing called for dramatic effect, basically. You change certain things so it will have a better effect on the film story. And just basically, Zazie Beeks she's a very up and coming, phenomenal female actress. And I didn't feel any kind of way about her playing Stagecoach Mary. What about you guys?
I didn't have an issue with it at all. I think she did a fantastic job, and I think Stagecoach Mary would be proud of her.
yeah. They needed a love interest in there, and Zazie Beetz was the way to go. She may not have been color correct, but she was it was a black woman in there with her natural hair, brought some class, dignity, and character to the role. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely loved her natural hair. I mean, that was one of the things that really stuck out to me about her. She like how beautiful her natural hair is. She's and very beautiful woman herself. Her spunkiness really like made this Stagecoach Mary very watchable. Very much a great part of the film. So, yeah. So if we would put this on our rating system. It's not a movie theater movie per se. It's streaming on Netflix. But if I were to give it our Black Dimension rating, I would rate it at a buy.
An absolute go
Most
out and buy
definitely.
quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this film, definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. As of the time of this broadcast, it's still in the top 10. I think it's at number 4. So yeah, that's for a reason. So, do y'all have anything to add before we close this one out?
Nah, I'm good. I'm a fan.
All
I
right.
There,
said what I
there's
said.
no, there was no way to not enjoy this one. You're gonna love this from beginning to end.
Absolutely non-stop. It just doesn't slow down. Okay, all right. The Harder They Fall on Netflix. Definitely check it out. You heard it here. And yes, you've been pulled into the black dimension. And hopefully Rufus Buck lets you out. But I seriously doubt it. So see you guys next time.